Don't miss Community Conversations with Tanoa Limpoye. Fridays at 5 p.m. WNN. Talk 1470 is WWNN Pompano Beach and 95.3 FM W237BD Boca Raton, the Health and Wealth Radio Network.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, tune in to the Dr. Bob Martin Show. From erectile dysfunction to eczema, heartburn to headaches, carpal tunnel to how to lower cholesterol drug-free. Sunday mornings at 10 on Talk 1470 WNN.
If you're tired of losing money when the stock market goes down, then feel you're not making enough when it goes back up, take an investment class at Online Trading Academy. For 2 decades, Online Trading Academy has taught over 200,000 students how to time the markets, how to pick the right stocks, how to limit risk, and how money is made in up, sideways, and down markets. All instructors are certified, currently trade, and profitable. They show you what they do every day with stocks, options, futures, forex, and now Bitcoin. So if you're tired of losing money when the market goes down, then feel you're not making enough when it finally goes back up, call now for a pair of tickets to a free sample half-day class in Broward or Palm Beach and see for yourself how educated investors make trades. Online Trading Academy, the leader in investment education. Call 954-668-2510. 954-668-2510. 954-668-2510.
What you want to know. What you need to know. Talk 1470 WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to the Art Radio Network, live from the heart of Delray Gallery. Join us every Tuesday at noon for a glimpse of the art, comedy, culture on the G Talk Radio with Lawrence Kurtel. Meet our artists up front and personal. Be part of the live studio audience. Are you ready to smile and feel inspired? Find your inner creativity to share with the world. It's time to take a seat and have some laughs. Put down that paintbrush and call in with your artistic thoughts and ideas today at 888-LOL-1470.
We are here live again with Gartel G Talk. Coffee is being brought in as we speak. Thank you, the lovely Dawn and Freddie, for doing our show with us. Dan, our executive producer. Who's the young lady there? I don't know who she is.
Tammy.
That's Tammy. Tammy. Hey, Tammy. How are you? Hey, Tammy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's doing today?
Came here to watch your show.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm Lawrence Gartel. I have some fabulous guests today. Florencia Clement de Grand Pre.
Hello.
Oh my God, don't you just love saying that? You want I don't know, I want some food with that. I don't know what kind, if it's Spanish or art is good. Art is very good. We have Lenore Diamond Robbins. What a nice name that is, too.
Thank you.
I like that a lot. And the one and only Robin White, my dear friend. Robin, thank you for coming. And you know what's really interesting about this show is that everyone's from a different part of South Florida. Right? So, Florencia, you're from Fort Lauderdale. I'm from Boca. You're in Delray. And Robin represents Pompano here. So, it's really interesting that we sort of have a diversity of region here today with us at G Talk Radio. So, female artists. I guess you didn't have a choice, really. Right? I mean, well, I guess today you do. What am I saying? You can be whatever you want, right? I mean... Cher's kid, right? I mean, that's a whole different deal. Anyway, we're not getting into that. But, you know, so my first question really to everybody is, when did you really decide to be an artist there, Flo?
Well, I think I always was an artist, but I decided to do it full time about 3 years ago.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
But wasn't it in your blood? I mean, what were you doing for the last, well, you're only 20, so, I mean, what were you doing for the first 17 years?
What was I doing? I was actually involved in interior design, so
Right.
I've always been in the creative industry, per se.
Yeah.
But I just got tired of not being able to do what I wanted to do, so I quit my job and started painting.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, you know, we're really excited. I mean, you've done some really beautiful works of late
Thank
that I
you.
know of, and You know, you said to lower my phone, and I'm going to do that. I'm sorry. I don't know who this is. South Carolina? Ridiculous.
Some fans
I don't
already
know.
calling in
Or
from
maybe
South
they're
Carolina.
calling in. Maybe I should have taken the phone call, Fred. I don't know. Well, who knows? You know, probably selling me a vacation, I think. Listen, caring is sharing, so we do want you to call in, and not calling me on my cell phone, but how about calling the direct hotline number for the show, which is 888-565-1470. That number again, 888-565-1470. I don't mind you interrupting the show, but call in and we'll talk to you. Sharing is caring. That's today's mantra. And, you know, we are broadcasting at 95.3 FM and 1470 AM if you're listening in. And we're also going live stream, isn't that true? On Facebook Live and a bunch of other things. It's really kind of cool about that. So let me continue the conversation, if you don't mind, and ask you the same thing. When did you decide to be an artist?
Well, I've always dabbled in the arts since, I guess, junior high school. High school, I was working in jewelry, and then in college, I took up stained glass until I dropped the soldering iron on my leg. But
Ouch, that must have
it
hurt.
And I said, that's not for me. But I really started seriously about 25 years ago and have been up to my eyeballs and beyond in it. And it's not an option. It's just,
It's a compulsion.
It's a compulsion.
So, you know, and I read your resume, which was pretty respectable, I have to say. Tell me what your best show was. What do you think was your best show? Or where did you show that you felt, you know,
My
you really
best show?
got what you wanted to get?
Well, I was with Art Fusion Galleries in Miami for a long time.
Yes.
And a very long time. And had really an outstanding experience there. Unfortunately, he's closed down for construction now, but
Right.
I really enjoyed participating there. I had a fabulous experience at Spectrum this year. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
But it's a challenge, always trying to find a really good place to show your work. I've been in
Yeah.
some not-so-wonderful places because artists remain eternally optimistic.
Yes, always, right? They
And
have
I've
to
made
be.
some bad decisions, but being here at Hart Gallery is
I was just going to say, you're here
fantastic
at
for me.
the Heart of Delray
I
Gallery. You
love
enjoy being here?
No,
Great
I
energy.
love
You
being
love being
here.
here. Let that stand. She
love being
loves being here. She loves the
Walk
Heart
in the
of Delray.
door, and it doesn't matter what the rest of my day has been like.
Isn't it incredible
makes me
the
feel good.
energy that this place puts forth? I mean, with
Yes.
the waterfall
Yes.
and the space and everything. It's just beautiful, right?
Right.
And that's inspirational to you,
It
right?
is. And the other artists who are here, it's really a positive environment.
Positivity is very good, right?
Yes,
we
it is.
don't need any negativity
negativity.
whatsoever. None, zero. It just brings you down. It's a bad vibe, right? And
Right.
it just, art needs to flourish under positive conditions,
I
right?
create happy art, so I like to be in happy environments.
We're going to talk about your art in a minute. I want to get to Robin. Robin, darling, when did you
darling.
decide to be an artist?
My mother told me when I was 4 years old,
Yes.
people would always, you know, how adults are. They go, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yes.
And she said, I always said the same thing. I want to be an artist. I don't know how I knew what that was at 4.
At 4.
No, I don't even know.
Wow.
But
4
she-
is an interesting age, right? It's like a
yeah.
blossoming. It's like the flower, there's like a little bit of a bud.
Yeah,
right?
I used
think
to.
when
My
you're
grandfather
4.
had a store, and she said
Yeah.
I used to draw the shoppers with their little baskets. He had a tiny store, and I
Yes.
used to draw the shoppers on those little penny bags that they put beer in and stuff.
Yes.
You remember those?
Yeah, no, I'm a
So-
little too young for that sort of thing, but you know.
You're younger than me. So, but anyway, yeah, I used to draw in those little bags, and so that was. I don't know. I don't think I was good at anything else, so they were cool with it.
Right.
They were like, "Yeah, let her be an artist. She doesn't do anything else."
That's great. That's really great. So, Flo, what was your first piece of art, if I can ask that?
Oh, my first
Remember
one
that?
was when I did I did a little drawing, painting in oils when I was 5. That was my first one. But if
Do you
you're talking
still
about
have
as
it
of
by any
late,
chance?
I do. It's at home. I didn't bring it. I should have brought it. Oh, sorry. It's only about
Well, you're going to have to post it.
2 inches or 3 inches by 4 inches. It's really a small piece, but so much detail in it. And I look at it and I don't know how I even did it. But that was my first piece that I have and that I recollect doing. I'm sure I
And
painted
treasured.
before that.
And treasured, right?
I treasure it.
That's-
I do.
that's
I'm just so
awesome.
glad my mom kept it. She didn't keep many things, but she did keep that.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Lenore, how about yourself?
I wish I'd
First
known you
piece?
were going to ask that question.
Listen, this is about, improvisation. This is
I
on
would
the
have
spot.
brought it with me.
Right.
Oh.
Me too.
No, that's fine.
No, I
we can't
have-
give everything
okay, no,
away
no, no.
here. You got to post it and draw people back
It's
to be
from my
interested.
jewelry years,
Oh,
and it
I'm
is a
sorry.
silver bracelet
Right.
that has little little cubes in silver on it, and it's really interesting because I made that when I was 17.
Wow.
And my art is still very consistent in terms of what I like.
How interesting is
with
that?
the geometric basis, and I
Wow.
wear that often.
So it's a consistent thing.
in terms of
in-
my
in your own
approach, that it's
approach.
geometric based.
So I must tell you, I recollect, I was an artist, I came out of my
Can I ask
mother.
Lenore a question? Will she do private commission work?
Yes.
I would too.
All right.
Because I have this idea for the cafe, and I told Lenore, she does these amazing puzzle pieces. So there's going to be a
Yes.
puzzle piece of me and a puzzle piece of Freddie. And the
Right.
background says the Brooklyn Cafe, and it comes together kind of mismatched because we come together so mismatched. And then we can hang it here, which would be, I think, such a great piece.
You heard it here first.
See that? I know.
She
Right, Dan? Wouldn't that be
talked.
so cool? We have a Brooklyn
Right.
Cafe puzzle.
That's great. I love that idea.
I leave you
do that.
speechless.
Can certainly
I
do
leave
that.
him speechless,
Why?
too.
I would just- Already got it in our
Brooklyn
minds.
Cafe, I think of, I think of like all of what Brooklyn has. I mean, there's just so much. So is it a themed Brooklyn concept? Is that where you're going with this?
Well, our show is called the Brooklyn Cafe
Yes,
TV. So
yes.
it can be Brooklyn concept, it can be the gallery. We're sort of a mismatch of subculture
Right.
and just sort of spotlights in here with all the artists.
I think immediately of Nathan's. I just,
There you go.
it's just the first thing I think of when I think of Brooklyn. I say Brooklyn, Nathan's. Of course, the Brooklyn Bridge I think of. What do you think of when you think of Brooklyn?
And it's a lot closer to where my daughter is right now than I am.
Oh, but it's also like they're getting a nor'easter or something. Young man in the audience.
That's me?
Yeah.
Me?
Yes, sir.
No questions.
Okay. All right. Well, I totally lost my train of thought. So, but Brooklyn is Brooklyn, and that's great. And let me come back to my mind for a moment and think about what I was going to ask you. Robin, let's go to you with your first piece, and then I'll come back. Now I know what I was going to say.
No idea. I mean, just the little people shopping, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. Those got thrown away or whatever. I don't
No,
know.
but you bring up a very interesting point. So I remember my first day, I was saying I came out of my mother. I guess that's what triggered, birth of new ideas. So she had a new, I could see the segue to talking about the Brooklyn Cafe.
was a good
Very good.
transition.
No, that makes sense. I came out of my mother, but I have to say that my first real piece at art school was drawing a bottle of cognac. And then I look at that bottle and I realize that my Absolute vodka ad is very similar to that. And that was I was 7 years old. And, so many years later, dare I say 20, why doesn't 23 years sound like a lot anymore? But, 23 years ago, after the time I made that bottle, just being a kid and then making the Absolute ad, it really looks the same. It's like you bring yourself forward, I guess, is the point. So, all right. So do you think, Robin, let me ask you this. So do you think that where you grew up had any influence on your art regionally?
Probably. I can't think of exactly. I grew up around the water. I grew up in the Keys.
Yeah.
In Miami and stuff later
Yeah.
on. But
Did-
But yeah, I mean, I did a lot of underwater pieces, and I love the water.
There you go.
So
Okay.
I love the reflections under the
Yeah,
water.
now that I think of some of your artworks that you've painted.
I'm a
have been-
very sunny disposition type of person, so yes. you know.
Well, they say that Florida is a sunny place for shady people. I've heard that too, you know, so here we seem to go. You know. Frankie Bones said that, my dear friend, in Brooklyn, I may say. Frankie from Brooklyn said that. So anyway, what do you say about that?
My art is not basically influenced by where I grew up or where I am. It's really just, it's shapes, it's geometry, but not where I'm actually living.
All right. Listen, we're going to take a break now, if that's all right with you. And we'll come back to G-Talk on the Art Radio Network here at the Heart of Delray Gallery. We will be right back. Thank you.
The Heart of Delray Gallery, located in the Delray Art Complex, is one of South Florida's top venues for art, culture, music, and private events. The Heart of Delray Gallery is a cutting-edge, 11,000 square foot art exhibition showcasing local artists and artisans with the highest quality of talent and vision, highlighting South Florida's creative arts. Visit us at the Heart of Delray Gallery, 1440 North Federal Highway in Delray Beach. Come, take a tour, book your next private event or fundraiser, or join us for Art Walk the first Friday of every month from 6 to 11 p.m. For more information, give us a call at 561-278-0074.
Hurry up and grab your grub. It's time to rejoin the Art Radio Networks, sponsored by the Heart of Delray Gallery. For more information, call 561-ART-0074. That's 561-278-0074. Now, back to our show.
I got it. Hi, we're back. Lawrence Gartell here, G-Talk at Heart of Delray Gallery. I'm glad we're here with my female guests, obviously. How can you not know that they're female guests? Robin White, Lenore Diamond Robbins, and Florencia Clement de Grand Pré. I love that. Listen, we have some news. We're going to, the gallery here at Heart of Delray Gallery is celebrating its 1-year anniversary on March 8th. My mother's birthday. You said your
My stepdad's birthday, too.
Stepdad's
Yes.
birthday. March 8th is a very special day here at the Heart of Delray Gallery at 1440 North Federal Highway, just in case you need to know where it is, from 6 to 10 p.m. on March 8th. Okay, big celebration here. We're looking forward to having everyone here and celebrating with you, Dan, and the gallery. Florencia, I want to go back to you on that question about place influencing your art. Tell us about that, and let's see some of it that you brought. It's
Okay.
fantastic.
Well,
Can we raise
for
it a
me,
little bit?
Yeah. Here's one of mine. It's actually, this is a print of one of my originals, because my originals are quite large.
Yes.
They're about 48 by 36 inches, so I can't carry them in.
No, they're big.
Every day, and as of late, I did this. Actually, this I did last year, which is my portrait of Michelle Obama.
That is
which
just
has
beautiful.
caused a lot
That
of
is
controversy
just-
I love that.
because everybody went back to this when they saw the official one, and
Oh, they should have
I
used
respect
this.
everybody's work, but somebody remembered that mine they preferred, and they started commenting on it, and it went viral. So anyway, going back to your question,
Yes.
I grew up I was born and raised in Spain, and so if you've ever been there, you know that it's a country full of color, vibrancy, a lot of energy, a lot of passion, just lots of architecture, and all of that I think really has influenced my work. My work is a collage of wallpaper samples and fabric samples, and so I integrate all these different
Beautiful.
materials which I'm recycling, and I get a large combination of colors basically, and because the sample's only a certain size, I have to do sort of patchwork because I have no option, but I actually like the fact that I have to end up, I think, with a very different look and I think a good effect as well.
Yes. Yes. So, Lenore, you work in, your work absolutely fascinates me, I have to say. As the minute I saw it I was so intrigued by it. And, you know, then they said, by the way, you know, it's wood. And I had no idea. I thought it was plastics. And it reminded me of that place that used to show all that crazy stuff. What was the name of it that we talked about? That, you know, the old lady who moved out to Arizona.
Oh, Lumonics.
Lumonics.
Yes,
Your work
yes.
was so Lumonics-ish.
I love that place. Yes.
Tell us about Lumonics a little
So
bit, if you
it
might.
was a husband and wife.
So trippy.
He did fabulous, huge plexiglass pieces,
Right.
sculptural but geometric base that were internally illuminated.
Right.
And she did mostly clear plexi pieces that were also self-illuminated, internally illuminated, but with water. And they had these events on the weekends where you would come and
Yes.
it was all controlled by a computer in terms of the lights going on and off, and they had
Right.
music, and then they would create art that was projected on the wall.
I got to tell
It was
you,
fabulous.
when I was there, I thought I was with Austin Powers. I never saw such a place like this in my life.
It was
incredible.
wonderful.
Now, your participation with them, what was that?
Just as a guest.
Well, I tell you, just as a
Spectator.
guest, but your work, to me, seems so part of their genre,
Yes,
if I may
very
say.
much so. Very much so. I absolutely love.
I don't know
going
who
there.
influenced who, but it doesn't matter. The work is your work is fantastic. Can you tell us your website, by the way?
It's my name. It's LenoreDiamondRobbins.com.
LenoreDiamondRobbins.com.
It's Robbins with one B.
And Robin, what is your website, just for everyone to
Mine
know?
is robinwhiteart.com.
RobinWhiteArt.com. And Florencia?
It's artbyflorencia.com.
You know, everything with you sounds like a dance. I just have to say, I feel like dancing when I hear your name. You just sound that way. It's incredible. So, okay. And Robin, your latest stuff, let's talk about that.
Oh yeah, pretty interesting. Yeah, I did. My latest theme deals with alienation.
Like from Mars, or,
No,
you know, what kind of
like-
aliens are we discussing?
Essentially, it's like that we're living in this very crowded world, but
Yes.
we seem to have like less and less connection between each other.
Well, that's what this whole show is about, for God's sakes. Look, I don't see Florencia that much, but here she is. And you guys, and, you know, we need that powwowing, right?
Like the
We need
true
that-
connection.
We need that true
One-on-one.
Yes.
You know, like when you go to, let's say, London, everyone's outside. There's hundreds of people standing outside a pub. We don't really convene. We don't really connect anymore. Certainly in America. In other countries, and maybe our influence because of social media, they're taking up more of our way of life versus we should be taking more of theirs,
Well, it
I
takes
think.
time to actually get to know somebody, and actually, you're on Facebook or you're on Messenger or whatever. You don't
Yes.
really get that true connection with people. So,
No.
So I think it's dealing with on a basic level that
Yes.
we don't really have that real feeling a connection anymore, and so that's what my art is dealing with right now.
It sounds fast. I can't wait to see what you come up with on that
Well,
particular
in
thing.
October I'm having an exhibition, so I'll invite you.
Please do. I wouldn't mind coming, actually. So let me ask you this. What do you think Art Basel has done for the Florida art scene? I'll pose that to you, Lenore, first.
That's actually an interesting question because Art Basel in and of itself is just one aspect of everything that goes on in Miami and the surrounding area. I look at it more as Art Basel Week rather than Art Basel.
Good way to say it.
And I'm
Very good way to say
very
it.
into the contemporary art as opposed to some of what they show at Art Basel. So it's enabled the other events to come in and have more of a presence because you've got Art Miami and Context and Aqua and Spectrum and Red Dot and Solo and all of those other shows.
Satellite shows,
That,
we
the
call
satellites that bring in a tremendous number of people. So it's an opportunity for international artists, but also the local artists to get more visibility for their work.
Good. Yeah, that's a
So-
good answer. Excellent answer. Flo, any thoughts about that? Art Basel?
Well, I just think it's a great place to see art, not even if you don't make it yourself, but for those of us who do, it's a great source of inspiration. Definitely, I go every year if I can, and I'm in awe of everyone's work. It's awesome to see that all this work is happening around the globe, and it's now in one spot, and
Yeah.
you get to enjoy it. So where else can you go and see this much art and this quality in one place, you know?
Yeah, I have to say for myself, like the social aspect of it, of course, is very cool that you can mix and mingle and so on. And I have to say that this year, one of my favorite things was going to the Faena Hotel and seeing the Damien Hirst 24-karat gold dinosaur in a box on the beach. It's almost like the work you love to hate, but you like maybe hate it so much that all of a sudden I get to the point where I go, oh my God, I absolutely love this piece, And I'm always shocked when I find out that I like something I thought I hated, and that's really a big awakening. And I think that that's what Art Basel does. It brings things to you. I still can't get over the orange mattress where someone put a mattress on it, someone threw a can of paint on it, and then, wound up in the Rubel collection. That I don't understand. But, maybe we're not supposed to understand everything,
Right.
So what do you think about that?
I mean, I call that like wise guy art.
Wise guy art. Yeah, you're probably right.
But it's still fun. It's fun to experience it. I still get a kick out of seeing it. I just
Yes.
I sometimes wonder, wait a minute, where are we going? Where's the art world going if we're going down that road? But I do get a kick out of it. I mean, I like seeing it. It's fun.
Speaking of roads, that's a very good question, but I do want to throw that number out again if people want to call in, 888-565-1470. So if you want to call in, you have a question, you have a statement, you want to make some non-political, non-religious idea, we're happy to take it, 888-565-1470. So, all right, onward we go. So now the world has come to South Florida, I'd say, with art, right? But then the rest of us that live here, Art Basel rolls up like tumbleweeds, like a western town, and nothing's left but the weeds. And so, maybe a place like here continues to tell the story after it's over, would you say, in some way?
I definitely think that it does energize the community. I mean, I know that right afterwards, everybody's like really still hyped up, and they're all those artists that I know are like, they're like, oh, we got to go create now. They get a kick out of it.
Well, they get inspired,
They get
certainly,
very inspired.
right?
Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah. So, and what about the rest of the world? What do you think about the rest of the world and what the rest of the world is doing? Any ideas? Any thoughts about that? Like, oh my God, I have to go to Istanbul because something's going on there, I have to be there. Is there anything that is pulling you to somewhere else? Or are we just so enamored by the sun and the palm trees and we don't have to go anywhere? They're having a nor'easter in New York, it's snowy, it's horrible, and here we are. What more do we need, right?
It's hard to get me out of the
I
studio.
think we just don't get to see that much, unfortunately. It's hard to really know what's going on unless you're specifically looking for something. Half the time we don't even know. We're not aware of the fact that there's a lot of things going on, even though I'm sure there is, because especially in Europe, they live on art. I mean, it's part of history. It's part of everything, and they really encourage it. So I'm sure that I'm missing out on a lot just because I am in the sun here. But,
Yes.
I do try to travel and just go places, and even though I'm not looking for anything specific, I always look out for whatever's going on in the area that I'm going to go to.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about yourself, Lenore? Any travel or ideas about going elsewhere other than here?
I'm not a big traveler. Did a lot of it in my youth, but I really not so much into traveling now. But what I am aware of is that people from other countries seem to have more of an appreciation for the value of original art as opposed to more locally where reproductions are just fine. and I'm basically only into original art. So
Well,
people's tastes change and their values change.
hold that thought because we have to take a commercial break. Okay, commercial break, commercial break. Here, Lawrence Gartell, G-Talk, Art Radio Network at the heart of Delray Gallery. I like saying that because this place offers so much. We'll be right back.
The Heart of Delray Gallery, located in the Delray Art Complex, is one of South Florida's top venues for art, culture, music, and private events. The Heart of Delray Gallery is a cutting-edge, 11,000 square foot art exhibition showcasing local artists and artisans with the highest quality of talent and vision, highlighting South Florida's creative arts. Visit us at the Heart of Delray Gallery, 1440 North Federal Highway in Delray Beach. Come, take a tour, book your next private event or fundraiser, or join us for Art Walk the first Friday of every month from 6 to 11 p.m. For more information, give us a call at 561-278-0074.
Hurry up and grab your grub. It's time to rejoin the Art Radio Networks, sponsored by the Heart of Delray Gallery. For more information, call 561-ART-0074. That's 561-278-0074. Now, back to our show.
Water? Sure, we can get you a water. I am back. You know, Lenore just brought up a really fabulous question from originals to prints. And, you know, I got to tell you something. There is in my book, I wanted to have a moment to discuss this, but you brought it up. So in my book, you know, Warhol versus Gartell, there is a picture, this is absolutely spectacular, about Andy, and it says there's an unauthorized picture of Marilyn, unauthorized reproduction right here in the book. I got to show this. You know, all of a sudden I read it, I went, wait a second, unauthorized reproduction. How about that? How is that possible? It's very possible. Someone took a picture of Marilyn and made 1 million copies of it, unauthorized.
Well, galleries used to restrict photography.
Well,
and you can't do that anymore because everybody has their camera with them.
well, you know, original art is fabulous, and, you know, we should try to promote more of it, obviously. But, you know, Andy sort of perfected the art of silkscreen and making numbered prints. I mean, that really sort of like got the world started. You know, of course, there was the Gutenberg press, and there was like numbered stuff way before then. But, you know, in pop culture, that is what he did, which I think was pretty like genius in terms of marketing and so on, that you have limited edition prints, you have so many prints, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're selling them for $3,000 at the time. Now they're probably $40,000, $50,000 or more, but back then it was an affordable way of having somebody's art.
Was that him or Castelli that really came up with that idea?
Yeah, well, you know, he was a smart man. What can we say? Very, very good guy. I mean, you know, that's probably another conversation about gallerists and marketing and so on and so forth. But so last couple of weeks ago, we had an artist on, and he actually painted my portrait. So there you go. I mean, talking about like being inspired and being able to. Greg McLaughlin was on the show and got so inspired that he decided to make a portrait. And, you know, I say that, you know, it's in the spirit of outsider art, you know, and it has its place, certainly. So he did 2, actually. He got really inspired. Let me show you the second one.
Oh, that's awesome.
I like
That is so you.
That is so me,
That
right?
is, yes.
Yes.
So I really, really love that. I really, really love his inspiration of coming on and wanting to do that. But then I had another artist actually do some portraiture, and thank you. And I must show you this little beauty that was done by my fellow artist here on our left, Robin White. Robin painted my portrait, and I absolutely just, this is a young Lawrence
I was going to say,
Gartell.
it's like a couple years old.
That was a
Earlier,
very
yes.
young Lawrence Gartell.
In a squirrel coat.
In my flying squirrel coat that actually John Lennon bought at the same place it was actually bought at Saks Fifth Avenue in the fur department.
Wow.
And my mother saw him wearing it. We were walking on Central Park West, and she said, "John, you're so handsome," and he giggled, and my mother had a little chuckle. Who knew? My mother was probably so young back then, you know? I mean, like flirting with John Lennon. I mean, what kind of thing is that? You know, she was my mom. You know? It was incredible, but it was a great story. Anyway, Robin, I really love this beautiful little portrait.
Oh, I love doing it.
And it was really sweet. So you know, that brings us to the point about talking about Florencia. You do a lot of portraiture yourself.
Yes.
How does that fit into your model of working?
Well, basically, all I've been doing since I started painting seriously
Yes.
is doing portraits of women mainly. And what I do is that I try to portray strong, elegant, confident women. So I always portray women in the best light possible. That's what I want to do, and I want people to identify with the paintings and feel inspired and empowered by them. So that's what I've dedicated myself to.
You know, the aristocracy has been commissioning artists since time immemorial to you know have their. But now, like the average person can have their portrait done, and you know, I think that even though I'm a digital artist, of course, you know, I really appreciate the originality of a painting. How could you not? You know, I mean, I'm personally inspired now to go further with mixed media. I've done it for years. I think the idea of mixing and combining, and you know, the world is so open, don't you think?
Yes, totally. You
You
can
know?
do whatever you want.
You
now.
do whatever you want.
Right.
So my son actually has got a letter for, apropos of nothing, he got a letter for jury duty, and I said to him, you know, I used to use the excuse, like, you know, I don't really like the establishment and so on and so forth. I think, like, today you'd get arrested for conspiracy for saying something. I'd be locked up if I try to get out of, like, jury duty if I did that. My point, though, in saying that, is that the world changes. The world changes and art changes. Yeah. So what can you tell me about that in terms of, like, contemporary art moving in different directions? Any thoughts?
Well, I just think a lot of people are moving to more contemporary because there's more freedom in it. I don't know, but
all right.
You're not as constrained. If you're doing more traditional work,
yes,
then it has to be more traditional.
Right.
But the contemporary art is wide open.
So art is really breaking all the rules, huh?
Yes, I think with contemporary art, it means that you can explore with different materials, you can incorporate things, there's no rules that you have to follow. You don't have to make a certain style or a certain thing. And that's the freedom that I think you're referring to, right?
I don't know if you went to Art Context.
I did,
this
actually.
year.
Yes, I did.
It was full of absolutely fabulous three-dimensional wall art with people using very unusual materials. I mean, there was one art piece that was plastic spoons, the white plastic picnic spoons that you would never look at as being art. And it was an absolutely fabulous piece.
Well, you bring up an interesting point. So basically anything could be a medium. And when I think about that, I think about the sculptor Armand, who would put violins together and pour epoxy over the whole thing, or little race cars. I mean, he was doing that in the 50s, for God's sakes. So, I mean, you know, a lot of things that are coming out now are actually representations, regurgitations. You know, I like to see original things. So if something hits you on an original basis, then I really have to applaud it, I think. Robin, what do you think?
I mean, some of the things that you see, like down, you know, at the satellite shows, like I always like Art Miami.
Yes.
The one that I saw that was like so cool was where they had taken the little computer keys, like keyboard things,
Oh,
and
yeah,
just
they were
making portraits
fabulous.
out of them.
Yes.
And they're just, I mean, they're huge.
Yes, I remember that
And
piece.
they're huge, and they're just amazing. I mean, I just sit there and just can stare at those things for hours. Like, how did they do that? Yeah,
Yes.
it's amazing. You know, just taking the like throwaway technology, you know, because we're, you know, take an old Mac and, you know, take all the keys and just
Yes.
make this incredible.
What do you think about collaborations? What are your thoughts on that? Does it help? Does it hurt? Is it good? Is it bad?
I
What?
don't think it can hurt. I think it's always interesting if you can actually make something with someone because everyone brings something to the table. I don't think everyone works that way. I am actually considering some collaborations now, but I can see how if you're a control freak, you might not want anyone else touching your artwork because
Yeah.
you're like, no, it's exactly how I want it. Don't mess it up, right? So if you're not that way and you're open to the experience and open to seeing something maybe wonderful come of it, why not?
Well, I'll tell you why not. You know, Warhol worked with Basquiat, and when he did that, they said that that was a really low moment in his career, interesting enough, and he had to fight back because of that. I mean, who's to say now Basquiat just sold for $110 million?
Exactly.
So, I mean, who did get the last laugh out of that one? But, you know, at the time, because, you know, art and time are very interesting objects, I have to say. You know, things happen in time, things shift in time when you do something in art. So I think in some ways it's important to decide who you're going to collaborate, who you're going to be your friend, and who isn't. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I've only done one collaboration
Yes.
with a friend.
Yes.
And it was a very separated collaboration. I did the woodworking and she did the painting.
Right.
And we're still friends. But I am a control freak, so, and what I do is really, really different from what most other people do. So
Right.
collaboration doesn't work for me.
It does not work for you.
No.
Well, we're going to start a collaboration right here because I'm actually going to I'm going to start off with a little television set here. And I worked with Nam June Paik in 1975, and we collaborated on a bunch of things. And it was very, very interesting. 1975, I was 19. He had to be 25 or so years older than me. I'm going to pass this. I want you to draw on it. And we're going to actually make a 4-person piece.
Well, it was
What
nice
do you
of you
think
to
of that?
start with a geometric shape that I can relate to.
Well, you know, we want you in your comfort zone, certainly. You know, we don't want to
We
like,
should
you
be
know.
out of our comfort zone. I think we should always be out of our comfort zone.
I totally agree with you
Otherwise,
because
nothing new would come of it.
I
You would
tot-
never experiment. You would keep doing the same old thing, and it would be boring. It would
well,
become repetitive.
speaking of that, right here at the heart of Delray Gallery, which is located where, Robin? Where are we?
1440 North Federal Highway.
1440 North Federal Highway in where?
In Delray Beach,
In Delray
Florida.
Beach, Florida, yes. So we are actually, this is a first. This is a first for the show where we're actually doing a collaborative work. We've never done that before. I've never brought markers. This could start a trend, or we could just end it here and never, ever do it again.
No, we should do it again.
We
I
should
think
do
we
it
should,
again.
yes,
All right, well,
yes.
you know, everyone's going to get a chance to make their mark. And, you know, we'll
Something
make
for
a
millions.
piece. I think it's really great. You know, the most famous collaboration, of course. The most famous of all time was the fact that Robert Rauschenberg wanted to do a piece, and he went to Willem de Kooning, and he said, I want to erase your markings. And that was just shown at the San Francisco Museum of Art. And it's probably the most notorious piece because he said, like, I can erase my own work. Who cares? He was a young man. I think it was 1953 at the time when he did that. Of course, everyone could fact check and see, oh, it was 54. But back in those days, so he had de Kooning, he went to de Kooning, and de Kooning gave him his most difficult work, and he erased it. And, you know, if you go Google that, it's extraordinary to think that Rauschenberg got him to make something that he could erase. Absolutely fantastic. It's probably Harold is like one of the most greatest pieces of all times, actually, in contemporary art. Why? Because it's like negative art, right? In a way, you're putting something forward, we're always making something. This is actually taking away yeah.
That's interesting.
subtracting. Isn't that
Yeah.
fascinating?
Yeah, and for the artist to let him do that, it's like you're erasing their work.
He was
That would
big.
be
Not only that, I mean,
hard.
de Kooning is de Kooning. I mean, could you imagine? And he pulled it off. So he went high. He aimed. I guess my point is, he aimed high, and he got a great result.
There you go.
And that's the point, is to always aim high. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's
Go
it.
for the
Wow,
stars.
we have one more minute. We're going to
Take a little break.
take a break. Yes, we're going to take a break. So, yeah, we're going to take a break in a minute. But we want to say we're going to talk about the party, which is March 8th, Heart of Delray, 1-year anniversary, 6 to 10 p.m. I don't know what you're serving, but it's probably going to be something really fabulous. And maybe there'll be wine, cake.
Everyone's welcome.
Sponsored by JM Lexus.
Sponsored by JM Lexus, pardon moi.
RSVP with Eventbrite?
Oh,
Yes.
wow, Eventbrite.
But it's free, right?
Fantastic. That's fabulous. Okay, we're going to take a break, and we will be right back. Thank you.
The Heart of Delray Gallery, located in the Delray Art Complex, is one of South Florida's top venues for art, culture, music, and private events. The Heart of Delray Gallery is a cutting-edge, 11,000-square-foot art exhibition showcasing local artists and artisans with the highest quality of talent and vision, highlighting South Florida's creative arts. Visit us at the Heart of Delray Gallery, 1440 North Federal Highway in Delray Beach. Come, take a tour, book your next private event or fundraiser, or join us for Art Walk the first Friday of every month from 6 to 11 p.m. For more information, give us a call at 561-278-0074.
Hurry up and grab your grub. It's time to rejoin the Art Radio Networks, sponsored by the Heart of Delray Gallery. For more information, call 561-ART-0074. That's 561-278-0074. Now back to our show.
Hi, we're back. Lawrence Gartell on G Talk. And speaking of G, here is son Cameron came in to visit us at G Talk here. Cameron, congratulations on today. Cameron just passed his hairstylist test. He's doing fabulous. Cameron, very, very well done. We're just talking about female artists, as you can see, and their great work. We're making a collaborative work here. We're starting to draw. Everyone's adding their contribution to it. And the party is March 8th here from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Heart of Delray Gallery. No, I don't know. You want to say something, Cam? You don't have to. Go ahead.
How's everyone doing today?
We're good.
Good.
We're good.
Good,
We're
good.
good. We're good.
It's good to be in a room full of everyone who just wants to create art.
That's what. That's.
That's why we're here.
Thank you for saying that, Cameron. That's exactly right. We're here with people who are creatives, who want to create. We're not like destroying the world. Whoops, that's. Forget I said that. Too political. No, but artists are always. We're always reactionary to what's going on in the world, right? I mean, look at Picasso when he made his most famous painting. I mean, it's all reactionary. I
We're
think.
the most dangerous of individuals.
Yes. Well, we are dangerous, right? Because
We infiltrate
we
every-
infiltrate.
Well,
More
make you think.
importantly, we influence.
Yeah, we
right?
make people think, right?
Make people think, and certainly, well,
It's part of our duty to actually make people think. I think you have to have that. It's your responsibility to actually be thought-provoking.
yes.
So if your art doesn't move people in any way, then you've lost the point.
Yes.
You know,
So artists always influence other artists. I'd like to ask all of you, what artist has influenced you? Robin, let's start there.
I probably have to say Sargent, because I love Sargent. Very,
John
very
Singer
traditional,
Sargent.
But yeah, amazing artist. Yeah.
Did that inspire you to do your own works, or what is it
I
about
think
Sargent?
I found out about him actually later on, much later on. I just really admire his incredible talent.
Yes. Yeah. Real talent, right? Lenore?
Mondrian and Anaskevich. That's how
Anaskevich,
you
yeah,
pronounce
Richard.
it.
Richard Anaskevich, yes, yes. So you like shapes and
Yes,
Ilya Balatowski?
I don't know
You should write it down. This is what this show is all about. Listening and learning. Ilya Bolotowski.
Spell that.
Very important. Spell it. He's Russian. What's your I-L... Ilya Bolotowski.
Ilya
Bolotowski. In the
I'll figure it
70s.
out.
It's all 70s kind
Okay.
of geometric. I guess we have to say, why not throw Frank Steller into the mix, right? Didn't he have a show recently at the Fort Lauderdale Art Museum?
It's still going on, I think.
Still going
It's
on.
a very, very interesting show. I actually went and
I think so. It's
very
interesting.
impressed. Very impressed.
Very
I don't
impressed.
usually do derivative pieces, but I do have a piece here showing at Art Gallery that's Mondrian based. It's my homage to Mondrian.
Well, you know, people influence us, right? You know? I have to tell you something. My story, I would say, about favorite artists is that I went to the Museum of Modern Art in 1986, and I saw Bob Rauschenberg's bed, which he created in 1955. And the bed is let's say it's about 7 feet with a pillow and a quilted blanket, and he like glossed over it, and I think that thing changed my life. And he also had a, thank you, he had a goat head as well, and those pieces changed my life because I said, really? You could really do that? I mean, that is like, that's art. It just redefined what art is or was. I mean, I saw plenty of art throughout my life. My mother took me to the Guggenheim Museum to look at Paul Klee and Miro, Kandinsky. I grew up on that sort of stuff. And when I saw Bob Rauschenberg's work, it sort of broke all sorts of like barriers, blocks even, to say that you'd say a bed could be made, like a pillow that was like, it's just like, it blew me away. And that was in '86. That was kind of like late, I want to say late in life.
Early for some of us, or not even around.
Or not even around, not even a gleam in your father's eye. But, you know, it was such a life-changing experience for me to see that piece. And so for me, I would say that. Another story that might be appropriate is to say that I came down to Miami and someone said, I want to give you a gift. This is wow, these are late stories. I guess maybe I'm a late bloomer.
I'm a late bloomer.
In 90, someone gave me a Salvador Dali book, and a gold book, and I said, this is like the worst, you know, oh, come on, this is so commercial. I felt it was so commercial. And then one day, I just woke up, and I looked at this book, and I went, what, am I kidding myself? This is the most fantastic art I've ever seen in my life. So it changed me, and I should say I changed. My perspective changed, and art makes that kind of distinction for you. It makes you think, and how often is it that you go in with a point of view, and your point of view is always the same? Like, I don't like this, or like, I hate peas and carrots, you know, and then all of a sudden one day you go, my God, I actually like peas and carrots. You know, so it's kind of that sort of thing where art can change your perspective on life. And then I think I was changed forever, you know?
You were open to it.
I was open to it. So I think movies do that too. Have you seen a movie recently that has influenced you?
What's the...
Water, Shape of Water?
No,
what?
it's the animated...
Loving Vincent.
Loving Vincent.
Loving
Thank
Vincent,
you.
go ahead.
If you haven't seen it, you need to go see it. It was amazing,
Yes.
really amazing.
Speak of
It
a
was done by
collaboration,
about
right?
100 different artists, all collaborating, and they created a masterpiece. They really created a masterpiece.
How
Have you
interesting,
seen it?
right? I've seen, no.
You must
The
go
answer
see
is
it.
no.
You must see it.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard, it's animated, right?
Yes.
There's another movie, I can't think of the, you know, when you can't think of the name of the movie and you can't think of the name of the actor, you're SOL, you know? And I want to talk about something that's kind of a negative now. It's a blank. It's
What was it about? Maybe that's...
I haven't even seen it, but I've seen it. I've seen the trailers I've seen the trailers, and I go, oh my God, this is it's with the actor from Blade Runner, Rutger Hauer. And it's just, he's an art in himself. You know, people become the art. I have to say,
Yeah.
at some point in their careers or their lives, or, the person is the art, Speaking of which, I'll give you another piece. You talked about, the contemporary versus the traditional. That's a very interesting term, I have to say, because when I think of that, I think of going to our faithful Norton Museum of Art and seeing a 1913 painting by Picasso of a guitar, and instead of it being all painted, he had one piece of string, brown string. And I said, this is the most incredible because you got to put your mind back to 1913. What was going on in the world? There were like these cars that were just, brand new, and gaslight and all the stuff that was taking place. And to think that someone was so advanced to make a piece, just like Duchamp, but people can't stand Duchamp's work. But I mean, to turn a toilet into a piece of artwork and create a movement of Dadaism, it's a stretch, I understand, and sometimes, you get this feeling you may have to go to the men's room or the, whatever, and use it. But it's just an incredible thing, I think, when art makes you think in that sort of way. Has it happened to you?
That it makes me think?
Yeah, or has a piece of art changed your life? I guess that's my question. Robin, how about you? Life-changing, seeing something that makes you, oh my God, that oh my God moment in art. I guess that's it.
That one piece of art that changed, not really.
Well,
I think I have to say, probably I don't remember.
You're still searching for an oh my God?
I think so.
Well, I saw a work of Anaskiewicz's 20 plus, almost 30 years ago.
Right.
And I couldn't afford it, but I said those dreaded words, oh, I can do that. And I branched off from there. But it was very inspiring for me. Absolutely loved his work.
What do you think about that big giant egg that's in Chicago where everyone runs and looks at their reflection in that by the bean? I think that's it.
Well,
do you know that piece? Look it up.
Okay.
Type in the
awesome.
bean. The bean in Chicago.
The bean.
It's shifting perspectives. That's why it's all reflections. It's just this huge shape that you can play with. So it's interactive, and that's what you want. You want people to engage with the art.
Yeah, listen, so I want to thank my guests at this point. Let's thank Florencia. Time just went so fast.
Yes.
Florencia, Lenore, Robin, thank you for being here to share with us female artists from South Florida. We're happy to have you. And I guess all of you are going to come back for the party March 8th. Yes, we should. Look at this nice collaborative piece. I think it's a beat to continued sort of work in progress. Maybe after the show, we can all work on it for a few more hours. I always say a great piece of art requires 2 more hours.
And
So,
I would say I shouldn't have gone that far. That's funny.
Oh, my God. Well, you see, I guess that makes horse racing,
You
right?
gotta know when to stop.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you all for coming. We'll see you next time. Lawrence Gartell on the Art Radio Network here at the heart of Delray Gallery, 1440 North Federal Highway. And Dawn, thank you for allowing us to be here. It was great. You did so much for us, I can't even say. And Freddie, thank you for being here. Dan, thank you very much. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Art Radio Network, live from the heart of Delray Gallery with G-Talk Radio, Lawrence Gertel. Take some time to enjoy the beauty and art within your community. And don't forget to visit us at the Heart of Delray Gallery at 1440 North Federal Highway in Delray Beach. Be inspired. We'll see you next week.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.